with a low and gravelly voice.
Awesome. Last week, we did our first reboot of 7-ish things, and the feedback that I got was you were terrible, and I
was
said,
terrible. That's accurate.
And too much. So I will endeavor to not do that this week, and you will endeavor to not be terrible this week. But you were shaking the ring rust off, so that's okay.
Ring rust is real, trust me.
Yeah, it is. So welcome to 7-ish Things, week 2 of the reboot. I am Merlin, with me as always, or I guess not always, I guess with me for the second time, and at least the foreseeable future.
Foreseeable future.
Yeah, how are you this week, sir?
Doing good. Got that new pinball machine installed, already starting to climb up the high scores ranking. Definitely some curse words flying. It's a pretty challenging game, but it's fun. It's an Attack from Mars. It's one of the best ones for sure. Amazing sounds.
Yeah. What are
Mars
the
Attacks.
you own 2 and you're renting a third? Is that correct?
Yeah, I want to see if I want to buy it.
Okay. What's the first one you own?
Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Based off of the old.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. When was it built? New one, old one.
1993.
1993, and it's good, but not good enough. Not so good that you thought to yourself, "This is the last pinball machine I'm ever going to need to own."
Oh no, I'm far too greedy for that.
Okay. Tell me about the second.
I want to be the Scrooge McDuck of pinballs.
Can you swim in a vat full of pinball machines?
It's probably scratch you up a little bit. The second one I got was Rocky and Bullwinkle because I love the cartoon. I mean, it's not the greatest pinball machine. It's a little rough, but it's fun. It has good sounds, and I mean, it doesn't take itself seriously. We set it on 5 balls instead of 3, just because who cares? You're not trying to break any records. I mean, that's like what I call like a Class B pinball, which they're anywhere from $1,500 to $3,500, and then you have a Class A like the Creature from the Black Lagoon and the Mars Attacks, where they're anywhere from $5,000 up to $12,000, depending. I mean, that'd be a pretty high price for them, but they fit in that Class A section.
Right.
And it just plays different. It just feels so much better when you play those games versus the Rocky.
What is it that you enjoy about the game, though? Like you're just playing balls around the playfield, yeah? Just
No. There's actual objectives that you have to do, which is kind of crazy because I grew up in arcades and nobody ever taught me how to play pinball. And they just start now that you learn that they're really deep. There's a lot of different things you can get to, very hard skill shots. You're catching the ball and you're shooting it. You're not just banging around like most people.
So it's like foosball, where people step up to a foosball table and they haven't played. They just start spinning those rails rather than actually trying to control, pass, shoot,
right,
all that stuff.
And then you see someone that really knows how to play, and they just like pass the ball and just slam it in there. Foosball, that sound. Whoop. The ball goes right in, and you have no chance.
I started playing foosball the first time I didn't go to college. So when I was 18, I moved into a college. I never registered at the university, but I lived in the college dorms. I had the whole college experience, and one of my best friends, who's still a great friend of mine today, joined a fraternity, and his fraternity had the foosball table, and I went to play with him, and he's one of those people. He will look you in the eye and tell you, "I will score on you with my goalie now."
With my goalie, that's amazing.
With my goal, yeah, and you go, okay, and so he will let you just set up your guys however you want, angle them however you want, put them however you want. I'm going to score on you with my goalie. Are you prepared? And I said yes, and then he did so. And then he did 6 more times, which is when I promptly discovered that there is a house rule. It doesn't matter if you're in the house or not, but it was you go down 7-0, you have to drop your pants and play the rest of the game in your underwear with your pants around your ankles. And if you lose 10-0, which I did every time, you have to do a lap around the house. So I only played there a couple of times before I learned my lesson that I wasn't going to get any better. All I was going to do was run laps.
I figured that'd be like if you had a huge hog, that'd probably be something like, "Oh, I lost 10-0 again. Guess I'll run around the house."
Not in today's climate, man. Maybe in the 90s that was okay. It probably wasn't then either. But
I'm thinking our views of college are more from the 70s and 80s, Animal House.
Yeah. Speaking
PCU.
of which, have you watched any of those movies that don't hold up anymore? Because I've come across this fairly recently. For example, I used to think that Revenge of the Nerds was a funny, fun movie, and in some respects, it's super inclusive, and they've got the gay frat member who it's not. This is a movie I think that was done in 1983, so there's
1983.
there was
or maybe it's 81.
Early 80s for sure. And they definitely had inclusiveness and both in LGBTQ and race and whatnot in this fraternity of accepting all people. That's great and all, but then the movie takes kind of a left turn into being really, really rapey. And
yeah, that's kind of a rough thing because you're like, what happened, right? How did we overlook this as like comedy and things like that? Because that's not funny.
No, yeah,
it's terrible.
Yeah, it's terrible. So you get to the end of that movie, sort of the latter half, and where it's just fraternity pranks. And don't get me wrong, I think at the time people were in a very different place and didn't quite understand the ramifications of that dynamic of male-female relationships. And I'm not excusing it. I'm just saying that collectively, I think we were in a bit of a misogynistic patriarchal haze, and things that were okay then are not okay now because we've grown up to it.
Right. I mean, I saw someone posted a bus on Instagram and it said panty raid on the side of it. I was like, oh, it's a bunch of classy gentlemen in there.
Yeah. And so I think it's a little weird. I think it's particularly weird right now because there's both the necessary reaction of people trying to course correct male, female, intersexual relationships, and then there's some people who take it too far, which is to say if you compliment someone, male or female, that you're sexually harassing them. And I'm not saying that that's not necessarily true either. If you compliment someone and you're creepy about it, or you compliment something that shouldn't be complimented, like their ass or their tits or their whatever,
right?
Not okay. But to say to someone, particularly a friend of yours, like, hey man, that shirt, that's a good shirt, man, or hey, I like your shoes, whatever. So there's a little bit of course correction, necessary course correction. And I think in probably 5 or 10 years, the generation who's 10 to 12 right now going into college, I think they'll look back at movies like Porky's and Revenge of the Nerds and
I don't think so.
You don't? No, I think they'll look at them and say, okay, this is terrible stuff. This is brutal. Like it's not funny anymore. Well, I think that there's still people in our generation who are going to go back and watch Revenge of the Nerds and just give it a pass. Like, yeah, it was the time. It's fine.
I would probably agree with that, but I don't know. Even the generations probably won't watch it ever.
Well, yeah, I think that, for example, my son, who's 9, I think that he will watch Revenge of the Nerds at some point, and he will do so with a look of horror on his face and think to himself, was this okay? And ask me or his mother, was this okay? Is this how things were in the 80s? And we'll say, well, it seemed okay at the time, but no, it's not. And we have to sort of engage with those weird lessons of
it's kind of like Mad Men.
Past.
Did you watch Mad Men?
Yeah, I loved Mad Men.
How it's just like, yeah, you love that, but you're like, geez. I mean, that was like crazy. Smoking and drinking all day and just treating women terrible.
Yeah, and there were a couple of scenes that really stood out for me in Mad Men. One of them always burns in my mind about that weird disconnect between then and now was a scene where they have a picnic. Betty and what was Don Draper?
Draper.
Yeah, the Drapers, Betty, Don, and their kids go out to a lovely park type field, grassy knoll situation to have a picnic. And at the end of the picnic, Betty picks up the blanket that has all the trash from the picnic on it and just shakes all the trash onto the lawn, grabs the blanket and walks away and just leaves all the trash. And somewhere off to the side where we couldn't see it was an American Indian, a Native American, standing crying his tears from that 80s commercial. And I never got that until I saw that episode of Mad Men and went, oh, we were terrible.
Yeah, people are still learning how to interact.
Yeah.
I mean, think about how everything was back, you go back a couple hundred years. This stuff was nuts, right? And it's just, we're still growing up as I guess you could say humans.
Yeah, we're not too far removed from being just pure savages. Just
not
murder
at all
in the streets. We used to do public hangings. I'm not necessarily opposed to that now, but That wasn't that long ago where we did public. We still do public executions. That's been in my lifetime. We did public executions at gas chamber stuff, and
I think they still have it in Texas here.
Yeah, you can still go and watch if that's your jam. Yeah, talk about a. How's that for a OK Cupid first date? Oh, it's like I got to tell you about this last night.
That's a was it a Christian Planet?
Christian Mingle first date. Yeah. So Amy and I went out to the bar last night.
Yeah.
We had a Wednesday free and decided to go out to the bar where I didn't have my kids and her kids aren't here, so we went out and she was working on a work project, so she wanted to finish that up. So we had
while drinking.
We had 4 requirements. We needed a place we wanted to sit outside because the weather finally turned nice in Sacramento. Spring has arrived.
So Wi-Fi, patio,
booze, and maybe like something delicious to nosh on. We also really wanted seats with backs because I'm old now and sitting on a bench seat doesn't do me any good. So we ended up in Sacramento here at a place called Zocalo.
Well, hold on a second. Who likes to sit on just a flat picnic bench seat anyways?
Nobody does, but that's the bench du jour for most of the outdoor seating. How many places do you go to drink that has an actual table outside? Most of them do that bench bullshit now.
That's so lame. It's like step your game up.
Yeah, buy a real patio set. So we went and
buy a real patio set, you cheap motherfucker.
Yeah. So we went and drank. We drank a pitcher of sangria, which was awesome.
Nice.
Did our work, and then we went to this great bar here in Sacramento called the Federalist, where they've purchased a couple of shipping containers, large shipping containers, and attached them and outfitted them together and installed them in an alley and turned it into a bar. And they have a big pizza oven and they serve a bunch of tapped beers. They got a bocce court. It's kind of a weird, fun back alley establishment.
Well, what if they lured people in there and then you go in to sit down and then they shut the doors? And then you ended up in Russia or something like that.
Right.
Like 3 weeks later.
What was that? Wasn't that a John Travolta Howie movie? You know what I'm talking about?
No, that's
Howie Mandel, John Travolta. They wake up in a little American town, but don't realize that it's in the middle of Russia. And
I've never seen that one.
You've never? Okay. So this movie, if I'm remembering it correctly, and with my right hand I'm looking it up, the plot of this movie is that John Travolta, and I think this is late 80s, this is still Cold War. So John Travolta and I want to say Howie Mandel play these two.
What's the name of the movie?
I'm looking it up. These two fun-loving Americans who Russia has created this town to create American sleeper agents, and they're trying to teach their sleeper agents to be truly American. And so they end up kidnapping these two Americans and bringing them to this town to teach everybody how to be American. But John Travolta, and I think it's Howie Mandel, don't know that they're in Russia. They think that they're in just some weird random town. It's a comedy. It's if I recall correctly, it's really terrible. And
no, I'm thinking more on the lines of Spies Like Us. They're in the back of the crate, they drop it off somewhere in the Middle East, and they're eating all the that tomatoes and stuff and the beer. They crash to that town. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Okay, so it is not Howie Mandel. It is somebody named R.E. Gross, who didn't make it as an actor, I'm guessing.
What's the name of this horrible movie?
It's called The Experts. Let me give you the synopsis. This is the summary. Travis and Wendell are kidnapped while on their way to opening a nightclub in rural Nebraska. The KGB spy Cameron Smith takes them to the USSR instead with the intention of teaching KGB agents how to be hip like Americans. The Experts.
It's literally the stupidest thing I've ever heard of.
Made in 1989.
I'm looking at it.
4.7 on IMDb. This is during the dark years of Travolta's career, where it was Look Who's Talking Now had gone off the rails, and his Look Who's Talking money had fell off, and he needed to do something else.
Oh my God.
Kelly Preston's in this, who he eventually married as his beard. I mean,
what?
Not as his beard. Kelly Preston, right?
Right. She's his
wife.
Yeah.
His loving definitely heterosexual relationship wife, Kelly
Definitely,
Preston.
no questions.
No questions asked. Right. I wouldn't presume otherwise.
He's like, don't count that time I got drunk and I made very strange, demanding requests
Right.
in front of everyone.
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
Okay, so you got a pinball machine. What else happened this week?
just finally got back in the grind, working out more. Oh man,
I like that you
just
have to get back in the grind and you own a gym. That's hilarious.
it's just, well, I've been doing all the fixing the place up and stuff. So it's, while they're working out, I'm working on the gym, and so now it's like I'm finished, and so now I'm working out, and it's just, there's a prison camp on Planet Bullshit. My wife just killing me. It's good though. I mean, she put together some really nice workouts, and it's just my cardio is trash. That's part of the problem. So need to work on that.
Yeah.
Kind of like my podcasting. Need to work on that too. Kind of suck at this.
Well, you're getting better. The classes that she does. So give me Transform Fitness for our 7 listeners. I'm adding 2 from last week. I assume 2 more people listen to this.
Nice.
Transform Fitness is a perpetual sponsor of ours. So give me a quick sales pitch on Transform Fitness. What do you guys do? Who are you? Where are you located? What type of clients do you? What's your jam? What's your raison d'etre?
What's the jam?
Yeah, what's the jam?
Well, so first and foremost, this is my wife's gym, not mine. I do not get any credit for this.
Well, of course not.
So she runs a very, very unique gym. Basically, she does kettlebell classes, group fitness classes. We don't like calling it boot camp because that's super lame. Very high intensity workouts. So she had us do one round by ourselves yesterday, and then the next round we paired up with partners. And basically, you couldn't stop your exercising until your partner had finished their sit-ups and their air squats, which it was brutal, and it was humid outside too, so that adds a little bit of flavor to it. But she also does helps clients get ready for beauty pageants, bikini competitions, kettlebell competitions, just full diets.
She's got a certification in kettlebells?
Yep.
Yeah, from On It Academy, right?
No, she actually got it from the Catch Academy. It's one of the best kettlebell instructors in the world.
Oh, that's right. But she's competed in On It competitions, hasn't she? Is that where I'm getting that from?
Yeah, well, she has the 2 different certifications from On It. She's going to get a few more.
Cool.
She likes it. They do a really good job. So...
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, all kinds of those things, the meal preps, customized diets, customized workouts, all that stuff. I mean, she gives her clients like real results. Like she doesn't, if you're cheating on reps, you're going to get called out. You need to finish your reps. I mean, a lot of gyms are basically kind of on the same principle as what was the Blockbuster principle, where they just wanted people to sign up and never show up. She wants you to sign up. She wants you to get better. And so that's really her secret sauce.
That's her secret sauce is actually trying to get people in shape. Now, yeah, she
cares. That's her secret sauce.
Yeah, she's as I said last week, she's one of the coolest people I know. She's one of the most driven, motivated people I know, and her abs are no joke. She could crush me with one hand. By the way, did you see? I posted a picture of my daughter flexing. Did you see that picture of my daughter?
Yes, I did.
Who's
she looks great.
My 12-year-old shredded daughter.
Yeah, she's gymnastics, man. It's killer.
Yeah, and they started doing weight training, and she does tummy torture, as she calls it. And so the reason I bring this up is 2 days ago, she said, "Do you want to do tummy torture with me, Daddy?" And I said, "Okay," because I try to be a supportive father. And she broke me. I had to leave the room because I didn't want her to see me cry. It was
terrible.
It was so brutal.
Abs you can work out. You can work out every single day, but they're only sore at first. Because you haven't worked those muscles in a long time, and then the more you do it, then you can do it. Like she doesn't get sore from it, but it's still hard.
Yeah,
she doesn't get sore that sickly feeling in your stomach where you're about to throw up.
Yeah, for sure. There is no soreness with her. She's just, I'm tired today. Though she's doing bench, they're doing weights now, so
that's cool.
She's getting. She had some soreness in her arms the other day. She said, my shoulders are sore from benching. I said, how much do you bench? She's like, I don't know, whatever they put on the bar. I'm like, you got to know that. And then another friend of mine, he's doing powerlifting. He got into powerlifting about a year ago.
Who's this?
My friend Kevin. He's
nice.
a programmer. He's always been a big guy, so he's always had sort of a significant amount of strength based off of just carrying a lot of weight.
Right,
and
he's a big dude.
Big dudes, and powerlifters tend to be big dudes. And so he's his Twitter shout out to, or excuse me, his Instagram shout out to his Instagram is called Late to the Gains, and he just posts videos of his workouts. And so last time I saw, he was benching, I want to say 305, and he's squatting. He's working his way up to,
probably squatting a lot more.
Yeah, he's working his way up to squat 500, but I don't think he's there yet. So
yeah, he's a big guy. He's a big guy.
Yeah, so he's 475 at 8 reps on his squat right now. He's working his way up to 600. He's benching.
I'm about to watch that video. He better not be in the quarter squat gang.
What's the quarter squat gang?
Those guys you see load up the bars and they go down like a quarter, like 2 or 3 inches.
Oh, okay, hold on. I'm watching it right now. He goes all the way down. His ass
you gotta go parallel.
Yeah, he's pretty low. It's a pretty
I'm
solid
sure.
squat.
If he's at that gym, they're not gonna let him get away with that.
Yeah, this is a powerlifting gym.
It's not Planet Fitness.
No, and he's deadlifting 365 plus 70 in chains for 5 reps right now.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Late to the Gains for our 7 listeners who want to go check out my powerlifting buddy. Seems like everybody's getting in shape, and meanwhile I'm bitching that my back hurts. But that's okay. I do okay. I'm gonna maybe start shooting some hoops again to try to get limbered up and loose, so I can shed some of the extra winter weight that I put on.
I just gave him a follow.
You just gave him a follow. I'm sure he appreciates that.
You're welcome, Kev.
You're welcome. Thanks, Kevin. Kevin will say thank you. I don't know how many followers he has, but he has
117.
117 now. Yeah.
How many do you have? I have more than you.
On Insta?
Yeah.
Do you have more than me? No.
Yeah. I have 10,500 followers.
Nikki doesn't count.
Okay, so 10,499.
I have no. Your Nikki's account doesn't count.
No, this is mine.
How'd you get 10,000 followers on your account?
I post dope stuff. People like it.
You post pictures of your wife, don't you?
Yeah, that's how I get all my fans.
Yeah,
they're not want to be friends with me.
No, yeah, because I got 368 followers, natural followers. I'd like to know how many followers I've actually had, because Twitter, for example, I lose 2 to 5 a week and gain 2 to 5 a week, so I'm always at that 350 mark. But I'm willing to bet that over the course of my Twitter career, I've probably had 1,000 different individuals follow me.
Yeah, probably, dude. My Instagram's pretty dope. This is what it's about. It's pictures of video games.
Yeah.
It's pictures of video games. Me playing pinball. And if my wife records me, you can see me act like an absolute baby when the ball goes down the middle.
Yeah.
Cussing, yelling, and screaming. Pictures of steak. Pictures of alcohol. That's pretty much it. Us going out to dinner.
Well, that's something I'd follow too. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. I would follow that Instagram feed. Have you checked out the crazy ones like Dan Bilzerian and all that? Amy follows some fitness model who's sponsored. Not Dan Bilzerian. She follows some fitness model who's sponsored, who does nothing but squats and tight pants. I don't know why she follows her, but she'll show me like here. She posted another video, and it's a worthwhile watch because this woman is in crazy shape and she'll do 30 squats, but she's mostly just showing off some clothing line.
Right. Well, they're most likely there's a lot of this scandal going around where they're using fake weights.
Oh, are they?
Oh, dude, it's so crazy.
This is a scandal?
Yeah, they just use fake weights on there. So they had like some girl, and she's, probably 140 pounds. And she has like 1 million followers. And it shows her squatting 5 plates on each side. So that's
5 plates? So
or 6
5
plates
45 on each side?
6 plates, so it was 495.
Oh,
right?
Jesus Christ.
So she's squatting, but she does it like 8 times. And all those people are like, oh, gain, strength. It's like, dude, that's not even possible for that person to do that. And they're pulling the wool over people's eyes because they're like looking at these people thinking they're these absolute athletes. And they're not. That's fake weights. All those weights weigh like 10 pounds a piece. And like, then they show this guy did like a side by side and he said, look, this is what a girl looks like that can squat that much weight.
Mm-hmm.
And she looks like, she's just a world record powerlifting champion, and it showed her, and she does it for 3 reps. She is, she's close to 200 pounds. She's jacked. And you've got this little skinny mini with a big old Brazilian plumpy butt, which those are implants most of the time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But, and that like crap. But there's guys that are doing it. And people have been I've been following this for a while. It cracks me up. And then this one dude called out this girl who said she did a 900-pound wall sit. So sitting against a wall, right, leaning against a wall, and then stacking 45-pound plates on her legs. Well, if you stack up all those plates, I mean, it's, you know, it's like, I don't know, I'm not going to do the math right now, but let's call it, it's like 40 plates. 45-pound plates, right?
Right.
And so they start stacking and everything, and she's like, oh, I did a whatever it's called. I set a world record for sitting on the wall for 1 minute with that. Dude, it's hard enough to sit on the wall for just a minute on itself, let alone 900 pounds. And so she actually came and showed up. It's Kiba Ali or something like that. And she came and actually did it. And they started stacking the weights down. She crashed. Some of the weights like almost hit her in the face. I mean, it's a dangerous proposition because if you're going to fall, you're going to slide down, and the weights are going to come towards your face. And her manager was there, and he was threatening to sue the guy and everything like that. He's like, what are you talking about? Just because you guys are bullshitting everyone.
Yeah. Can you imagine trying to explain this to someone in 1981? Like, this person has this online account with 50,000 followers, and the scandal is that they're using fake weights. Just trying to explain that to some, like, what? What are you talking about?
Like some guy, some just chiseled, like, old school 80s bar, just weightlifter, just in the gym, like in a Gold's Gym when it used to be real.
In Muscle Beach.
Muscle Beach. He's like, I'm not really. What do you mean? They have people that like look at him? Well, no. You know how you have fans that are sitting around here watching you work out? It's like these people watch you online, but you're not really lifting the weight. What do you mean they're not lifting? That would be an interesting conversation.
Yeah. I think that a lot of times we get so wrapped up in what's going on, we don't ever stop to think about just how bizarre everything is in regards to being online and having fans and online followings and people trying to drive their social media exposure up, and sometimes
it's crazy because even if they catch them, even if they catch these people, they've caught Brad Castleberry. For our 7 listeners, look him up. It is amazing. So they catch him, they've caught him time after time doing it, and he's at the like different gyms, and he's got, he's doing like 600-pound bench press, and he's benching it like 10 times, and they're like, this is just not possible for someone like you to do that. And then it's like he's saying he's squatting like over 1,000 pounds and all this stuff, and they're like, why don't you do a powerlifting competition? I mean, if you could do that kind of weight, it'd be amazing. He's got these like, I want to say like they're 160-pound dumbbells, and he's just raising them over his head like crazy, and then he's throwing them down. It's all for money. He's making grip too.
Yeah, well, you get enough fans, you can monetize the shit out of your feed, right? That's kind of the point. Is at some point to sell advertising or sell.
Well, he's got his he sells clothing, and they sell the supplements. So.
Oh, the supplement game is brutal, man. The amount of fuckery that goes on in supplement. Alec Jones's supplement company has a bunch of accusations against it. There's a bunch of those weird sort of competitors to Onnit that have a lot of fuckery associated with it.
Onnit's probably the only supplements. Onnit is probably one of the only supplements out there that's real.
Yeah, well, they pride themselves on it. But you can get online and buy anything you want as long as it's not a Schedule 1 narcotic. You can't buy things like opiate derivatives and things like that. But if you wanted thyroid medication or Indian Viagra, you can get on one of 100 websites and order that shit. That's how, was it John Jones got busted buying dick pills online?
No, he was getting them at the gas station.
No, somebody got busted for taking dick pills they bought online.
That's Anderson Silva.
Anderson Silva, right. Yeah, and those things were loaded.
How rough is that? That's not what he was taking. We're not stupid.
Right.
You weren't taking that shit. No one takes that stuff but truck drivers.
Right.
And people who hook up on Craigslist.
Well, they can't do that. That was a big thing this week. Speaking of things that happened this week, Craigslist pulled their personal section. There's no more personals on Craigslist. And I've never met anybody on Craigslist or used it, but that's Internet 1.0. That was the original way of both people to date online as well as meet super creepy people who are into some fetishy type stuff, fun and gross, depending on where you swing on whatever the fetish was.
Right. Well, everyone sold something on Craigslist or bought something, right?
Yeah, and that's still going. Just the personal section is gone.
That's what I'm saying. But the people that you deal with on that, like imagine Crank the Shadiness up and that's the person that they're getting ready to hook up with. So I got a funny story about this.
All right, lay it on me.
I got a job at a company. I won't no names because they had an opening, and so I'm working at the company and everything like that. And and then one of the guys was like, "Hey, do you know why the other guy doesn't work here?" I was like, "No, I don't." And they said, we couldn't figure out what he was doing at first because he's traveling around and he's setting up all these meetings, but he wasn't bringing back any orders, but we're getting all the receipts for all his travel and everything. I'm like, okay, I don't understand, right? And he's like, so then we had the IT guy at work hack into his email and started looking through his email, and they pulled it up. Mind you, not a good looking guy. This is about a guy that's probably, let's say 5'8", probably pushing 290. He's pretty round, red hair, and
big fella.
He looked like a lumberjack, right? Big old beard. And they opened up his email and they're like, "Oh, what's this?" And they clicked on it, and there's a picture of him just sprawled out, buck naked, that he was sending it to some girl off of Craigslist.
This is his work email.
Work email.
Oh, okay.
Totally a smart guy.
Oh.
So he was basically traveling the country and just hooking up with chicks on Craigslist on the company dollar.
Well, more power to him for utilizing the resources at his disposal, but dude, cover your track. I don't want to condemn the fella. I mean,
right? It's like, how can you be mad at that? I mean, where else is not a good-looking man gonna find himself some stuff?
I don't want to say he shouldn't have done that because I don't know. It feels judgy, right? I'm not saying I'm high-fiving him, but I'm not going to tell him no. He got away with it for a while. Eventually paid the consequences and
went and got another job at another company.
Yeah,
probably doing the same thing.
I don't think he regrets it. That's my point. Is that if you ask him, "Do you regret it?" He'll say, "I regret getting caught. I could have ridden that gravy train a little longer." I think. I'm not mad at him. I'm not mad at him.
You think he's still doing the same thing?
Probably. Well, not anymore. He can't. Maybe he's on OkCupid. Maybe he's on eHarmony or Christian Mingle.
Oh yeah, his memes have been shut down. I get you.
Yeah, but so maybe now he's on Reddit. There's a whole sub community on Reddit for some dark sexual stuff. If that's your jam, you can get into.
That's a hard pass. No way.
Yeah, I think there's a subreddit called Stupid Sluts Club. If you're looking for girls who are just celebrating whatever crazy shit they got into, or there's
weird.
What's another one that I came across? It was random acts of blowjob. If you're just looking for just a little bit of just a real quick smidgen, just an ounce, just a skosh of head as you travel the United States or the world for that matter. Yeah, these exist, and those are just the ones that I know about.
This is terrible.
Yeah, and Reddit's got some crazy stuff. They don't allow illegal stuff anymore, but
anymore.
As far as I know, I think that there was some sort of policy passed recently regarding Reddit and whether or not you could promote illegal stuff. But that's what the dark web's for. You can get down in the dark web and get into some real
creepy,
dark, creepy stuff. That's what's creepy about the internet. That's going back to that, trying to explain to someone from 1981. Try explaining to them how dark humanity has gotten publicly, because it was already dark then. For example, I don't know that more kids are kidnapped now. I think it's less. Or more crime happens now. I think statistically it's less. But because of the speed of information, we know about it.
We know about it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And since we know about it, all of a sudden it feels like things are out of control, when in fact they are way more in control than they've ever been.
Well, I'd say that we probably heard about it more, more truthfully, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, it feels like. I mean, I don't watch the news. But it's just like now everything is like clickbait.
Yeah, everything's clickbait. Everything is, here's 15 stories regarding this thing that you like because you searched for it on Google and we have your search cookies. And here's a story about your favorite 15 celebs and things you didn't know about them. And of those 15, one of them you didn't know, and it wasn't that interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you click on each one. It's here's how these top 30 celebrities look now. You won't believe it. It's like, man, oh man, they almost got me again.
Yeah, well, being a parent in the internet nowadays is tough. It's not just don't go to porn sites and be appropriate usage of the internet, but it's also no, son, that game that you're playing on your phone, that's an advertisement that's just trying to get information. Don't click on that either. And he goes,
Right.
but this game looks super fun. And I
Of
go,
course.
okay, yeah, it might be, but it might not be. And you have to think about who and what's reputable and why they're advertising and all that stuff. And so it's
That's
just
crazy to explain that.
yeah, lessons that I didn't think I'd have to explain. I just never thought about it. Of course, it makes a ton of sense that you have to parent in regards to the internet with eyes wide open and be blunt about this is what it is and this is what you can. And I also parent a little bit through. I don't have an issue with my kids at all, but in general in the house, I have a policy of honesty through paranoia, which is to say I tell everybody who uses the internet in my house that everything you do is monitored all the time.
Right.
I know every website you can go to, everything's logged. None of it is.
Right, of course.
Well, it is. It is all logged, and I could access it if I really wanted to, but I don't. Right. But the paranoia of trying to explain everything you put out there is permanent. And
So would you say that you rule your household kind of like Stalin?
No, not like Stalin.
Do you have like propaganda throughout the house? Just like,
Yeah, but propaganda based off of
fear.
pop culture and things like that. A big David Bowie poster that says "read." My Arizona State University degree in English is a bit of higher education propaganda. I mean, it all depends on how you define propaganda.
Right.
I got 5 guitars on my wall. I don't play guitar very well. That feels propagandish.
I've got one too. I can't play at all.
Yeah.
But I tell you what though, like if I was ever to like get on stage with a band,
You'd pretend.
I mean my stage presence would be off the charts.
Yeah, you would just you'd had to do that thing where you sling the guitar over your back and just clap in time, walking back and forth to the stage and pointing at people randomly, like, you, sir, you should be clapping more.
Right.
Put your hands in the air.
No, I'm like got kicks. I've got jumps. I do some slides. I do a backflip off a speaker. I'd break the guitar halfway through it.
Now, don't
all kinds
discount
of
the
stuff.
fact that David Lee Roth could also sing. You're just describing David Lee Roth without the talent, because that guy's got talent. He did all that shit, and he could sing. Go back and listen to those early albums. They were good, man. He could go.
Yeah, but I'm not going to sing.
No, you're just gonna you're the band's hype man.
Yeah, but I'm like the lead singer guitarist too. That's what I tell everyone.
Ah, I gotcha.
But really, I wasn't singing at all. My mic was off. The guitar was off. They don't know that.
Right. There's one of the fun things about pro basketball now is that with I'm here in the Sacramento area, the Sacramento Kings. They actually employed. It's been a while since I've been to a game, but for a while they employed a hype man, who wasn't just the public address announcer.
Like in the and one, they got him out in the court with like the sweat towel and everything.
Yeah, he goes out to the crowd during half times and timeouts and things like that when the crowd feels a little low, and gets out there and goes, Sacramento, get on your feet, make some noise. He's that guy. That's his whole job, is to be a hype man to get the crowd back into it.
That's not bad. It's not a bad gig.
No, it sounds fun, right? Just you've got a personality that you can just jump in front of a bunch of people and say some stupid shit and get people back on their feet, or act silly. Or I think the hype man or the mascot in Sacramento was on rollerblades, because why not? You can why not? Sure.
Have you ever seen that Russian dash cam where this like it's this guy's like following this van or some kind of like van thing, this bus, and he's following it and he's like flipping them off and everything, and he honks his horn, and then you see him get out of the car and he runs up towards it and he's like yelling at the driver. Well, then on the passenger side, like the door opens and like 4 guys in like animal outfits jump out of the vehicle and then kick the crap out of him in the middle of the street, and then they drive off.
No, you're gonna have to send me that. You send me that link, and I'll click that shit. In fact, you send me that link, I'll make sure it goes on the 7ish Things page, so all 7 listeners can click that shit. And maybe next week when we have 9, those extra 2 will click that shit too, because that feels like something I need in my life, and I would like it in my life, and my life will be enriched because of that link. So
I mean, that's kind of a thing that happens to you, and it's like, are you gonna tell on us? I don't think so. They're like, sir, what happened to you? I just tripped in the middle of the street.
Yeah, a bunch of Kurigamis beat the shit out of me. What are you going to say? You're not going to say
a bunch of furries kicked my ass in the handicap stall.
Right.
Oh God.
All right, we went way off tangent. So back to what happened this week. So my drink of this week was sangria. That was our jam. Weather finally turned bright and sunny here in Sacramento, so it felt like sangria was a thing. What were you drinking this week?
I was drinking some whiskey.
Yeah.
I call it a McRyan. So I'll take I buy nice whiskey, but sometimes I want it to be, I don't really, I like to drink it straight, neat, that's fine, but I kind of wanted a little Topo Chico in my whiskey.
Oh, so you like whiskey and water, whiskey and fizzy water.
Yeah, like whiskey and fizzy water, and it was really good.
I've got no shame that I add fizzy water to wine a lot of times. I love wine, so I'm a Bay Area kid. I'm a wine country kid. Grew up in Santa Rosa, California, Sonoma County. Shout out to hometown. But so I will drink wine, and I love wine. Particularly Meritage is my favorite. A nice blend is really good, and that is not Meritage. If you say Meritage, I will beat you to death with the empty bottle. Meritage rhymes with heritage, a nice red blend, that's my jam. But if it's a wine that's, you open the bottle and that wine climbs out, it's aggressive, you go, oof.
Yeesh.
A little fizzy water goes a long way and mellowing that shit out. Yeah.
I don't really drink wine that much, but I don't know. It's kind of like champagne, right?
Well, champagne can be really good or really gross, and so can wine.
Yeah.
So can wine.
Yeah, what level? I mean, I'm drinking a bunch of nice champagne, and it's kind of like, just normal.
I'm the same way. There's a place that we get out of the Central Valley, this Almondine. It's almond champagne. It's really fucking good. Yeah,
was that like a vegan thing?
No. No, wine's made of grapes. They just add almonds.
I know. Just kidding.
Did you see? What was that? The vegan thing we were talking about. I sent you a link for the vegan protesters vegan protesters in Toronto were out in front protesting this restaurant that serves game meat, venison, elk, things like that. And
phenomenal.
The owner of the restaurant, they've got window seats where it's a bar sort of sitting at the window so you can look out into the world. But the owner of the restaurant decides that he's going to carve up a deer leg right in the window. And it's what's interesting to me, wherever you fall on the vegan / meat eating bandwagon, whichever wagon you're on, was that he countered the protest by saying, I'm going to do my job where I carve this leg up into some delicious hunks of venison that I'm going to be cooking right in front of you people. And their response was to live stream it, which is to say, look at this horror that this man is committing. So they were both...
These people are absolute garbage.
Well, the protesters in general. I'm also... I like to know... if you're vegan and you grow your own food in your own garden... Good
for you.
Great.
I don't care.
But if it's a sheer death of pure volume of animal death, like if a mouse's life is worth the same as a cow life or a deer life or a pig life, then en masse, if you are a hunter and you kill a deer with a reasonably ethical shot, one shot, dead immediately, and you kill that deer and you eat that deer for 2 months in deer meat, then you have killed less than a vegan eating store-bought produce.
Right, because a bunch of mice get killed in that.
Rabbits,
and not
mice,
to mention
gophers.
that they've already proven that plants are alive.
Well, that too, but that's kind of beside the point. So the only ethical thing, the only truly ethical way to be vegan, to really reduce the number of deaths regarding you, is to fucking kill yourself. Just kill yourself.
Right, just like that one I sent you back, which says, woman dies climbing Mount Everest. So first and foremost, I'm sorry that the lady died.
Of course.
But this shit is hilarious that she died trying to prove that vegans can do anything.
Well, so she made a mistake that anybody can die climbing Everest, and they just, of
course.
And not only so, she made 2 big mistakes. Proving that you can climb, she might have been able to do it regardless of whatever her diet was. That's not relevant. What's relevant is that she made the statement, I'm going to do this because, and then died. And now, presumably, her body, which they just leave on the path, is a monument to her failure under the guise that she attempted the task.
I mean, how long before someone comes up there with a sign that says, like, well done or medium rare and sticks it or something? Right. It's just, okay, so first and foremost, my wife has some vegan clients, and they're fantastic. They don't say any of this stuff. They don't do this. It's just the person, right? If these people are protesting outside of this person's business, how would you have handled that?
Well, I think he handled it right. I think you don't want to give them credence, and you're not going to get into an ethical moral argument because
Of course
there are
not. They're not
points
gonna
to be
listen.
yeah, there are points to be made on both sides. And I have a really good friend of mine who's actually a professor of philosophy and an animal ethicist, and he understands all the ramifications of his moral position when it comes to whether or not he will or won't eat meat. And he and his wife happen to be vegan, and they're lovely people. And he's
Right. They
got a
don't
great
tell
sense
you
of,
about
yeah.
it. They don't tell you about it and force it and try to
No.
make you feel bad. Those people are the same people that try to force religion on you.
Yeah, absolutely. And he and his wife are actually have a great sense of humor about it. You can poke him about veganism now and again, and he just rolls off his back. No big deal, right? It's as if you made fun of your squirrel on your head with your hair, or my I'm perfect. So
How
whatever it is.
about your cane? How you look like you're
Oh,
Tom Hanks
yeah.
from The Lady Killers?
Yeah, I do look like Tom, particularly when I've got some wild, stupid facial hair. I do have weird facial hair sometimes. So
You sent me that picture and I could see your shadow.
Yep.
No, but it's like, okay, so they're interfering with this person's business, though. I mean, why that guy? He's just
Yeah.
a dude.
Well, and because it's an old Dennis Leary bit, but they're not protesting. They are. I'm sure that they absolutely protest cows and pigs and stuff like that. But because he was doing wild game, deer, elk, things like that, that's why I believe they were protesting him, despite the fact that you're really just making a decision to protest people eating the cuter animals or animals that you for some reason disagree with. It's the same.
It should be against the law.
Yeah,
to do that
there's
in front of
there's
someone's
this
business, for sure.
there's this big festival in China based around eating dogs.
Oh, it's horrible.
Yeah, that's horrible. And what's horrible about it is the treatment of the dogs prior to the eating.
Oh, it's so bad. I don't.
But if
ugh.
right, but if you're, I'm a meat
Skip
eater.
this-
I
skip
love
that
meat
part.
eaters. Yeah, but it's that weird one of if they were raising dogs who lived in the wild and lived to a ripe old age, and then you loved that dog and you treated it really well. Kobe dog, right? You loved that dog to death, and then all of a sudden, you put it out of its misery via.
Did you just
one
say
shot.
Kobe dog?
Yeah, I did Kobe dog, and that's how you raised dog meat. I don't have any problem with that. The fact that you're eating a dog versus a cow, it's not for me.
They
I'm not gonna
horses
eat the
in
dog.
Europe.
Yeah, I'm not going to eat the dog. I don't want to eat a horse. But if you raise it humanely and kill it humanely, I don't see an actual difference between a cow and a pig and a dog. Not that I want to eat a dog ever. It's the people who raise. It's factory farming is gross for sure. I try
And
to
protected.
Yeah, I try to eat pasture raised meat. I try to eat ethically sourced meat if I can. If I had a source for game here in Sacramento, I would definitely get that.
Absolutely. That'd be fantastic.
There's a great butcher shop in Sacramento that does V. Miller Meats that does game and high-end meats and things like that. But I also accept that it's not a huge issue in my life, and it's not something that I want to put a huge amount of effort in to make sure that all that's done. So sometimes I'll eat cheap meat too. And I get that
I don't know.
that's
I figured this, right? I'm
ethically
becoming an
dicey.
adult. I'm going to eat whatever I want. So if I want that USDA Prime, I'm getting that.
Yeah. Well, that too, right? It's I only have so much bandwidth for so much protest, and I don't know, man. If you're, I don't know the answer to these questions ethically or philosophically, whether or not a mouse's life is.
Oh,
worth
how
less
about
than a
this?
cow
If
or
it
a
was my
bivalve.
store, and you were protesting outside my store, and you're starting to interfere with my business, I'm coming out there with a pipe. I'm cracking heads.
it's
Yeah, get the fuck out of here. I mean, are you kidding me? Like, think about how that would be handled in the 80s.
well,
You're gonna fucking protest my store?
you could theoretically sue, I guess, maybe. For
You should be able to
business
because they're
laws.
blocking his business. They're messing with his business. Think about people.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm rolling up to a scene and I see a protest out in front of some restaurant, man, I'm eating there
Yeah.
for sure. I'm getting in this action. It's like, oh yeah, try to
Yeah.
stop me from going to this restaurant.
It's a bit of an odd sequitur, but what's the best steak you've had?
The best steak I've had.
Is it something you? First of all, let me narrow the field. Is it something you made or you had at a steakhouse?
Okay, so let's do both because
All
you always think that you're the best cook.
Uh,
So we went to we were at my wife was doing a bikini competition in Pittsburgh, and we went to this steakhouse called, I can't remember the name of it, but anyways, it was really good. I could see the name, and I got a 8-ounce steak. It was extremely expensive. It was on what they called their platinum menu, and it was like dry aged for like 130 days, and it was an elk steak.
Elk, ELK, elk.
Yes.
Okay.
And it was just ridiculous. And they're like, how do you want it cooked? I said, blue. And they were like, well, maybe you want it Pittsburgh style. And I said, what's that? And they said, it's black and blue. So they put like a nice crust on the outside of it. And then the inside's pretty much raw. I mean, that steak is top quality in the world. I mean, you could basically take it and just eat it raw. You're not going to get sick or anything.
Was it Hyde Park Prime Steakhouse?
No. It was.
I just Googled Pittsburgh steakhouses to see if I could find something for you.
No. I'll find it right now.
Hyde Park, Ruth Chris, Morton's. I think Eddie Merlot's.
Eddie Merlot.
Eddie Merlot's aged beef, prime aged beef and seafood in Pittsburgh.
That's it.
Yeah.
Shout out to those guys. And then my wife also had a bison filet mignon. So you don't see that very often at all. And that was rivaled for sure rivaled the elk steak.
And what's the best one that you've made for yourself?
Best one I've made for myself is Costco, getting the big tomahawks. And so just going through and getting the prime meat, and then actually looking at them and picking them out, picking the right one out. So that way you get the best meat, best marbling, however you like it and everything. And then cooking it on the Traeger. So that's kind of a cheat.
Yeah. The best steak I've ever had was, I don't remember the name of the place, and I don't know if it exists anymore, but I had one in Calgary. Calgary's a beef producing place. Calgary steaks are legendary. Albertan steaks, more specifically. I went to a steakhouse.
Oh, I am sorry. I told you the wrong thing. Ready for this?
Yeah.
Well, that was what the important thing was. So this was I can't say it. Wylarah, Wylarah, and it's a MS 9+ scored filet mignon, and it was 7 ounces, and it was $100.
Ooh.
So MS 9 is marbling scored 9+. So that is the absolute highest marbling that you can get on any steak.
It's like a American style Kobe or Wagyu.
Yes, exactly what it is.
Yeah, that's what I was. That's what
it is. It is Wagyu.
Calgary place you didn't have to cut it. You just showed it the knife, and a slice fell off.
It just falls off. Yeah.
Like I'm about to, and it just falls off.
So that's like $250 a pound. That's insane.
Yeah.
It was so good though. It tastes like magic.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Yeah. I like magic.
What's your favorite chain restaurant steak? Like you're traveling for business, you see a chain, you're gonna pop in, eat a steak there. What's your favorite?
Fleming's. We just ate there last weekend. That one's really good.
I don't think I've been into a Fleming's. I like Morton's. Morton's is a chain.
Martin's is
pricey.
Yeah.
Ruth's Chris is a chain. They're pretty good. Also,
not a fan of. We've eaten everywhere here, but Eddie V's Prime Seafood. They have good steak too. We go to Trulux. Have you ever been to Trulux? That's a seafood restaurant, but they have a really awesome. Anytime you get a chance to get a bone-in fillet, it has like an L-shaped bone attached to it. Ooh, that's really good. I like the bones, so I normally get the tomahawk steaks everywhere I go.
Okay. Yeah, I like a bone-in steak too. I'm a big fan of a bone-in steak.
Yeah, I don't have no beef with paying for. Yeah, no pun intended. I have no problem paying for the bone because the meat that's around the bone is by far the best.
Yeah, I want a steak now. I might have to go up to KP, the store I mentioned last week, and get some meat this weekend.
You need to post some pictures of that store on our website.
I will. It's good.
Facebook.
Yeah, it's really good, and that's where I can get that Armenian brandy too. Maybe I'll finally pull the trigger on that. I might not. I'm trying to be a little more frugal with my fundage because we might be moving here soon.
Oh.
We're trying. All
right. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll pay you PayPal half of it. We'll split it, so that way you can talk about it on the next podcast.
All right. And I'll send you half an empty shotgun bottle of Armenian brandy. That's
what are you trying to put in the mail, sir?
Yeah,
what do you send? What do you send?
Yeah.
Shit tastes like fucking. Tastes like poison.
Yeah.
How do you know? I've eaten poison before.
Yeah. Basically, iocane powder. All right. So speaking of iocane powder,
good. That was a great transition.
So I'm a big social media fan, right? I argue online on Facebook and get into it on Twitter and Reddit and all that shit. But I was recently checking out a new platform that I don't know if you had a chance to play with called Whisper. Have you played with this yet?
I haven't even heard of it.
Okay. So Whisper is a format. I haven't done it in browser. I've only done it on phone. And the premise of Whisper is that you whisper things to the community. So you post confessionals or questions. What? Yeah, and it's done.
I'm out.
It's done.
I'm an adult. I'm out of here. This is a hard pass.
It's done.
Anyways, keep going.
You pick a picture, a background picture, and then it kind of makes it look like a meme. So it does that white lettering with the black outline kind of thing. Right. So I'll give you an example. This is what's currently, quote unquote, popular on Whisper right now. So these are all public posts. I'm not revealing anything, and there's no names associated with any of this stuff. So it's all anonymous-ish. So here's one, for example. I'm a polygamist. My husband is not. I'm slowly dying inside, and he will never understand.
What?
Yeah, that makes me sad. I don't...
Weird.
Do you think... I'm going to click on this. It's got 415 likes, and here's 202 replies to this woman. I assume it's a woman. Oh, because her husband is not. If I've misgendered you, anonymous person, I apologize. But...
We wouldn't say husband, then.
Well, you might. There's no reason.
I don't know. You do say partner, I would think.
No, you absolutely say husband. But the picture is of a woman, so I'm assuming it's a woman. Here's another one. This one disturbs me a little bit, which is, it just refreshed and flipped off my screen. Well, that's...
Hold on, let me read one. I found one.
All right.
I'm addicted to social media. It's affecting my real life, and I don't think I can quit. Well, listen here, fuckstick. Stop posting shit on here.
Right. That's what I wanted you to say. That's what I was shooting for, was what advice. So what advice would you give this polygamist? I'm a polygamist. My husband is not. I'm slowly dying inside, and he will never understand. My advice is leave him. That relationship's doomed. Just accept it and move on. He's doomed.
Wait a second.
It's doomed.
Yeah.
Doomed.
Wait a minute. Hold on. So before I get my grill of math mixed up. So does this mean that this girl wants to be married to multiple guys, or she wants him to be married to multiple women?
I think she means polyamorous, which is can love and date and be in relationships with multiple people. Polygamist is polyamorous, but you're married. So I think...
Is that like the Mormon thing?
Yeah. I think she means polyamorous with the potential for polygamy, which is marrying those people that you date. So basically, he wants to be monogamous. She wants to be able to date and have relationships with many people. That relationship's doomed. Dude,
that's so doomed. She's probably already doing it. Of course she is.
Yeah. Doomed.
Ugh, poor guy.
Doomed. All right, here's another one. Started sleeping with the guy I babysit for. I'm sure this will end well, with an eye roll emoji. Doomed. That relationship's doomed too. You're not going to be the new stepmom. Doomed.
Oh, yeesh. Advice? Run like you're on fire.
Right. What else do we got?
Oh, I had knee surgery when I was 12. I tell girls I meet it was a shark bite. Shout out to that guy.
Yeah, that's really good.
Mr. Danger.
How can you say you want to be with me and see a future with me, then slowly push me away like I never mattered? Move on.
I'd say that anybody that's posting on this has problems.
I don't think so. Some of them are okay. I've burned off way more than I've eaten today, and I'm kind of happy about it. Okay.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. All right. I like that one.
Does anyone else sit around in a towel after a shower because they're too lazy to put clothes on? Yeah. Lots of us do that. I dumped my.
There's always that problem with the tie part, right? You always got to try to get it to tie up.
Well, have you ever seen one of those Velcro towels where it actually has Velcro on it?
No.
Oh yeah, they sell towels specifically for just wrapping around your waist, and they Velcro clip.
Speaking of towels, if anyone wants to get me a Christmas present or birthday present, shout out to Ric Flair. I want one of those Ric Flair Nature Boy towels.
Yeah, I will one day, if I had money to burn, real money to burn, and I wanted something ridiculous, I would definitely buy a Ric Flair style robe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Or nowadays, if you're a WWE fan, it might be a Bobby Roode style robe. Bobby Roode, who has the best wrestling theme music potentially ever. If you haven't heard it, you need to go listen to it. It's the most ridiculous, most professional wrestling-y theme song I've ever heard, and it's one of those.
Oh, he's got the Rick Glorious. Oh, this guy's dope.
Yeah, and his theme music. It's my understanding about the story behind it is that they had somebody produced it, and it was originally offered to another wrestler named Shinsuke Nakamura, who's a great character, and Shinsuke didn't like it, so he turned it down. And then Bobby Roode picked it up and started using it, and it's so ridiculous and it's so funny that the song's called Glorious, and Glorious is used as a refrain throughout the song, that he's now known as the Glorious Bobby Roode. And he's taken this sort of Ric Flair-y kind of modern character.
I'm looking right at it.
It's so ridiculous. It's so funny and so fun. It's as good as a professional wrestling theme song can get, for sure.
Yeah, you got to go back to that iocane powder. So anyway, so you were telling me that you think in movie quotes. I do it all the time.
Well, yeah, I absolutely do too. And so this, whatever pops into your head. I had written down one word associations that I wanted to run by you to see if what popped into your head.
Roll that beautiful bean footage.
So one of them that popped into my head is whenever somebody says something along the lines of that person, that whatever, is going nowhere. Something always pops into my head.
And the next line should be, I got you for 3 whole minutes.
Yeah, that's exactly what pops into my head. And I don't remember how it came up, but somebody said, I was at dinner or something like that. And I think it was Amy. She said, I think that's going nowhere. And in my head, I heard, you're going nowhere. I got you for 3 minutes. Yeah, that's, if you don't know, that's from the original Tobey Maguire Spider-Man with a cameo by Macho Man.
What was his name?
Bonesaw.
Bonesaw is ready.
Yeah,
that is just so good. I mean, oh man, he's amazing.
Yeah. Well, and this came up because I was playing a really fun party game online by the makers of You Don't Know Jack. Did you ever play that as a kid?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they've put out modern games for PS4 and whatnot, and they're super fun. And you play by smartphone. So you start up the game, and the game connects to the internet and gives you a code. And then on your smartphone in a browser, you go to a web jackbox.tv. And
but then you're playing all those people. You're playing people who are cheating and stuff.
No, you only play the people at your thing. So you're only playing. Yeah. So we had 8 or so people when I was playing this, and they have all these little party games.
But nobody's going to want to play with me or you because we'll know every single answer.
Well, they're not
like in the first few words.
Well, so there were quiz games, and I dominated at those. But the fun game that we played was called Quiplash, which was it gives you a question and you try to come up with a silly answer.
Kushlash?
Quiplash. Kushlash is a very different
Kushlash.
game. Kushlash is what you feel
when you smoke from Jerry Maguire. Kushlash.
Kushlash from Jerry Maguire?
Yes.
Kushlash.
He said remember the guy Kush? That was the guy they wanted to sign, and he's playing guitar, and he's like, I got Kushlash. See? Movie association. Yeah, bringing it back.
That is a good one.
Give me another word.
I'll give you another, just any old word.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's go with passenger.
57.
Yeah. That's one came up recently with me too. And if somebody said passenger 57, there's only one line that follows that.
Always bet on black.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of which, I read on one of those clickbait things. I was reading through.
It must be true.
No. I was reading through a plot hole filler. Like, here's 15 things that were cut out of a movie that filled in plot holes that were created when it was cut out. And one of them that I didn't know was in Die Hard, the watches. Have you read about this? And so
they synchronize their watches in the beginning.
Yeah, but there's a scene that they cut out that showed them all wearing those watches and in a more overt way. And that one of the things that tips off John McClane that Alan Rickman is not a hostage.
It's a German watch.
Yeah, he sees the watch, and the watch is what gives him away. And I just never picked that up. It always bugged me that he figured out that. I just assumed that John McClane was super smart and that he just was suspicious of a guy to begin with, and then I think it plays really cool because it makes John McClane look cool, but it was a bit of a plot hole for me.
Well, hold on a second. So we mentioned a movie earlier. So that's the exact same way in Spies Like Us when they spot the Russian when they go they say they need to go to the bathroom and they get out of the Jeep and they're picked up in the Middle East. And he jumps back in the truck and he's like, he was wearing a Russian wristwatch. Da 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 da.
It's been a really long time since I've watched Spies Like Us.
But yeah, but you know what I'm talking about? That's what he spots
Yeah,
that
yeah,
watch
I remember
on.
this. I remember
Dan
the scene,
Aykroyd.
but I don't remember it. It's probably been 20 years since I've watched Spies Like Us. It's not on my.
It holds up.
It's not
It
on my
holds up.
rotation. Well, particularly now, I'm sure it's relevant again. In fact, maybe I should put together a whole Russia-themed Cold War movie comedy marathon. I'll pull out that John Travolta movie we talked about earlier.
Okay. Spies Like Us.
Spies Like Us.
War Games.
War Games. Red Dawn.
Yeah.
Not a comedy, but it's got to go on there. The original Red Dawn, not that really
Yeah,
shitty
not
remake.
that piece of crap one.
North Korea invades Seattle. That was stupid. What else?
Why Seattle?
What
trying to take over the coffee.
What else is on that list?
Okay, hold on a second. Red Heat.
Red Heat for sure. Yeah, that's a good one. Arnold Schwarzenegger's in that one. I forgot about Red Heat. Man.
Another movie about where there's a very key point with the watch.
Oh,
Hunt for
Red October's got to go on that list too.
That's a dope movie.
Red
Heat. They swap watches at the very end.
Oh yeah, you're right. That's Jim Belushi, not Jim Belushi. Jim Belushi. Jim Belushi's in Red Heat, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe if you're gonna throw one in there, you might throw Moscow and the Hudson in there, an old Robert Williams movie. That's a good one.
Yeah, you'd throw that one in there. I'm trying to think.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's a good enough.
Yeah, I mean that's a whole day.
Well, okay. Do you throw in? Never mind. I was thinking of something different. I was thinking of a different movie.
What movie? Doesn't have to be. I just want to know what you're thinking about.
Oh, I was just thinking about because in the fourth Indiana Jones movie.
Oh yeah, never mind.
And I'm always asking my wife. No, hold on. I'd rewatch that. You should rewatch it. I actually enjoyed it, knowing for what it is. It's not like the first three, but it actually wasn't bad, and I really gave it a shot, and I watched it. So I always ask a question. So my wife's my translator. She speaks 7 languages. I said, "What are they saying? What language is that?" She said, "They're speaking Russian." It's like, why are they speaking in Russian if they're supposed to be German? I don't know.
Aren't they supposed to be Russian? Isn't that one takes place in the Cold War? So the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull takes place after World War II, after the Korea War. It's like 1952 or something like that. Like the Nazis, the Nazis at the very beginning of that movie are legacy leftover, and they're doing the Manhattan Project tests, and that's a Cold War movie, so they should be speaking. I'll have to rewatch it, but I think
it is. I am wrong. Yeah. It is. That is one get added. Okay, so I was thinking this correctly. Yeah, Russians disguised as United States Army officers.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I was thinking this right. Okay, sorry, false alarm. Yeah. Oh, the movie that they were speaking Russian in, which isn't a very good movie, is the Bangkok something with Nicolas Cage, where they were in Thailand and they were speaking Russian.
Oh yeah, I didn't see. There's that whole litany of Nick Cage movies that I can't get behind anymore. They're on Netflix.
Wouldn't that be crazy? Like you're just like, oh hey, hey Merlin, we're gonna need you to do another movie. You're like, oh okay, all right, I'll be there in a little bit. And you just like show up and you're doing it because your parents are making it.
Yeah, you just go right to the wig trailer. You get outfitted with a good hairpiece and then roll out there and do your best Nick Cage impression as Nick Cage.
All right, so put this one on there.
All right.
And I think I need you to watch this movie. You can give me a movie to watch, and I'll give you one.
Okay.
Watch this Kingdom of the Crystal Skull again.
It's not going to be No Country for Old Men, is it?
You've already watched that, and it was phenomenal.
I did watch it. It was okay. Didn't blow my skirt. Is it going to be pure romance? No, true romance.
True romance, that's amazing movie. No, I'm telling you to watch the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull again. Watch it with your kids.
All right, I'll watch it. I'll put it on my list.
Now you can find one and hand to me, and I'll watch it too, and then we can bring that up in the next podcast.
I told you, I already gave you one. It's The
Experts?
The Experts, starring John Travolta and a guy whose career completely floundered after that movie, possibly beforehand.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
The original Gotcha with Anthony Edwards?
Yes.
That movie's great.
I know.
With the paintballs at the end?
Yes, so that needs to be on the list.
Speaking of which, talk about shit that doesn't hold up in real world now. You could not run around a college campus with a
shooting someone with a paintball.
Realistic looking paintball gun. Like those were realistic looking guns.
How many people know that there's a video game made after that
Oh,
movie?
I did. I remember that game.
I know you do, but like I'm saying, I remember seeing the game as a kid. It was, I mean, it hardly worked, right?
Yeah. Would you remember Cloak and Dagger too? That's another one of those. Dabney
Dude,
Coleman.
Dabney Coleman, yeah, I watched it. I said I was texting you when I was watching. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I'll have to. I haven't watched that one in a really long time too. I'll put that one on. That should go in a double feature with The Wizard. I feel that you should watch Cloak and Dagger and The Wizard in a 3.5 hour double feature.
Well, I think you would start out watching War Games. Then you would watch Cloak and Dagger, and then The Wizard, because then that's the progression of the video games.
We just watched War Games, my kids and I, because it plays a big role in the book of Ready Player One, which we're going to see on Saturday. We're very excited.
Oh, okay, hold on. Let's do this. So it would go War Games, and then it would go Cloak and Dagger, then it would go Tron, and then it would go Wizard.
Okay. I don't know. Wizard doesn't feel like it fits. The first three kind of fit because they're more drama, and Wizard it's lighthearted. It's drama, I guess, but it's lighthearted drama.
All right, I follow that.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it fits. I feel like Wizard would fit more with Rad and Gleaming the Cube.
Yeah, okay. Kind of the same serious level.
Yeah.
Well, Gleaming the Cube is kind of serious.
Yeah, maybe
there's like multiple murders in that.
Yeah, Gleaming the Cube might be better fit with. Gleaming the Cube would go with, what's that movie I'm thinking of? Thrasher. That's one of them, but there's another one that just popped in and out of my head. I'll think of it. It's not relevant, but there's that sort of 80s genre, semi-serious adventure movies, kind of rollerball-ish.
I tried to watch the first one.
It's so
just
bad. The remake's bad. Even worse.
I don't know. The remake is probably more tolerable.
Oh, I don't think so. I think they're both bad.
It's got LL Cool J in it.
Yeah, or go back and watch Cherry 2000, or Buckaroo Banzai. Buckaroo Banzai is classic. That's a cult classic.
I've been wanting to watch Buckaroo Banzai.
It's stupid and amazing at the same time.
What's the one I sent you with like Chuck Norris and oh my gosh, it's not Chuck Norris, is it? It's like a fire something. It's like a treasure hunt. No, it's a treasure hunt movie. It's oh my gosh, the guy in Iron Eagles, Louis Gossett Jr.
Louis Gossett Jr. in a treasure hunt movie. No, you're not talking about El Diablo.
No. It's I tried to get you with this. It's like fire something.
Fire something.
I'm
looking at his IMDb page right now. Problem with Lou Gossett Jr. is you think he stopped acting? He didn't. He's
194.
Yeah, he keeps going, man. He hosted Saturday Night Live in 1982, and the musical act at the time was George Thorogood and the Destroyers. That sounds
nice,
amazing, and
that does sound pretty wicked.
It sounds terrible and amazing.
He's in Diggstown, which is a phenomenal movie.
Diggstown's one of my all-time favorite movies. Shout out to Diggstown if you're looking for a fun, hilarious. I can't say enough good things about that movie. It never released on Blu-ray. I looked for it for years.
That's sad.
He was in
Firewalker.
Yeah, that's right. And he did all the Iron.
I've never seen that. I want to see that movie, Firewalker. I'm writing that down again. I want to watch that one.
He was in the 80s version of The Punisher, the one that stalled Dolph Lundgren.
Or that's a piece.
Oh, it's bad, man.
Well, he's in one of my favorite movies. Don't care what anyone says. Toy Soldiers.
Well, yeah, Toy Soldiers is great. That's one of those. That's one of those movies that gets you because everybody's in it. Mm-hmm. Like The Outsiders, or there was another movie like Toy Soldiers that had a one of those casts that had all the 80s actors sort of all.
St. Elmo's Fire.
St. Elmo's Fire, yes, that is the one I'm thinking of. Well, the Brad Pack wasn't that, but St. Elmo's Fire had everybody in it.
Yeah, that's a good flick.
What's that? There's one with John Cusack and Demi Moore too. One Crazy Summer.
Yep, One Crazy Summer, where she says, "You don't know Dom or something like that." And he's like, "What?" And she's like, "Dom, the company that makes mace," and she sprays the bullies in the face.
That's the one with where they take the Ferrari and shove it in the boat, right?
When he pulls up and the guy's like touching his car and he's like whispering to him, he's like, "What?" And he keeps getting closer. "Did you touch my car?" Shit has me rolling. That guy's a fucking awesome asshole.
Wait,
who is that?
Is that the same guy from
No, it's not William Zabka.
No, it's not. No, it's not Billy Zabka. By the way, speaking of which, I can't tell you. I will buy YouTube Red just to watch that Cobra Kai show. And for those who are my 7 listeners, go to YouTube, search for Cobra Kai. This is a YouTube Red television series that is a sequel, takes place in the world of the original Karate Kid movie, where Daniel LaRussa has grown up and he's reasonably successful, owns a car lot.
It looks amazing.
And Billy Zabka plays Johnny, and he's kind of grown up to be the loser that you all hoped he would when Karate Kid 1
Yeah,
ended.
but you feel bad for him because he's like, he's just trying to start his own gym.
Well,
he's just trying to go on with his life. You feel bad for him. It's going to be amazing.
That's the point of the movie, is that the villain. Maybe a year or 2 ago, someone recut the Karate Kid trailer
and show that Daniel's the asshole.
Yeah, Daniel's the villain. And someone ran with that and turned it into a television show. So Billy Zabka is recreating Cobra Kai and gonna start his own dojo, and he's gonna be teach people karate, and it looks fucking phenomenal. It looks hilarious. I'm so excited. I'm gonna have.
I have YouTube Red.
I did for a hiccup.
I highly recommend it.
Yeah. What are some of your things that you're looking on there? What's your shows?
Well, no, I don't watch any shows. I listen to music.
Oh.
So I listen to my podcast, like you guys could be listening to this one, and then I can turn my screen off. And I just listen to my podcast.
Oh, okay. I use Spotify. I actually pay for Spotify Premium because I played for Rhapsody Premium for years before that.
Okay.
So I've always been a Spotify guy. I used YouTube Red for a couple of movies that I wanted to watch, and then paid for it for a few months and just wasn't really using it, so I got rid of it. But
right. Well, I know I'm working all day, so I'll have my podcast on one computer, and then I'm working on the other one and I'm listening to it.
Okay. So besides YouTube Red, what are some of the other shows that you're watching right now?
So we're started watching the show called Expanse. Have you seen that?
No.
Dude, this is right up your alley.
Okay.
So there's 3 different factions. There's Earth, Mars, and then there's these other faction called the Belters. They're like the, I don't know, worker bees kind of. Basically, they're going out and getting like resources and stuff, and they're bringing them back and sell them to Mars and sell them to Earth. That show is amazing.
Okay.
We've been grinding out the episodes on it. It's only 2 seasons. It's on Amazon Prime.
All right.
Highly recommend. If you like sci-fi stuff, my wife doesn't even like sci-fi stuff, and I was like, "You like this?" She said, "Yeah, I really enjoy this."
All right.
It's just
I'll
good.
put it on my to-watch list. We've been watching Cougar Town. That's what we've been binging through. As we went back, I'm a big Bill Lawrence fan. Scrubs is one of my favorite sitcoms of all time, and he went and did Cougar Town after Scrubs, and it's just wildly goofy and strange, and it gets meta at times, sort of fourth wall breaking jokes. The show was always on the bubble for cancellation, so they keep making jokes about whether or not the show's going to be back. And when the original, I don't think, if I remember correctly, Bill Lawrence didn't want to call the show Cougar Town. That was a network decision. And after the first season, in the opening scroll, the opening credits, there's a running gag, sort of like the Simpsons chalkboard, where he changes it every week to say something else about the name of the show. The poorly named Cougar Town, or I hate the name too, Cougar Town, or no, it's not just Scrubs with wine in Florida, Cougar Town. And it just is a continuous joke, and it's a goofy show for sure. It's not for everybody, but it makes me giggle a lot. Scrubs did.
I feel like you've already seen Peaky Blinders.
I have seen Peaky Blinders. Peaky Blinders was really good, gritty, good. Really enjoyed it.
So we were going to start watching that, and then for, I don't know, whatever reason, I think they advertised to me on the Amazon channel.
Yeah, Peaky Blinders was really good. It's super gritty and fun. I like those period piece shows. What was the Penny Dreadful?
Boardwalk Empire.
Penny Dreadful was kind of the same thing. Penny Dreadful and Peaky Blinders feel like that would be a good 2-hour block of your life.
Did you see Boardwalk Empire?
Yeah, of course, all the way through.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, phenomenal show. Really, really good. What else? Those are the things. I mean, there's not a lot that I've really gotten into recently. I've been watching.
You mean like
TV.
Doing a backflip off of a downed opponent?
Right. Oh, right. We didn't even talk about that. That was on my 7-ish things list of the one UFC MMA thing to talk about was that video. And for those who haven't
Well, hey,
seen it,
no. Let's be clear. This is not UFC.
no, it's
This
not
was
UFC.
some Indian reservation unregulated show.
Right. And so how did he tap that guy's? What happened?
So what happened is the guy was charging him. So for the audience that is just listening to this, the guy was coming towards him. They were exchanging punches, and he started to fall down. Well, when he fell down, the guy was like trying to land on top of him, and the guy fell and landed right on his knee. So the guy who was attacking fell on the downed opponent's knee and got knocked out. Well, he fell down and he was knocked out. The ref jumped in to stop the fight. Well, the guy who was getting his butt kicked jumped up, stood on the guy's back as he's laying face down on the mat, and did a front flip off of him.
Right. To celebrate the win.
It was like,
referee
what?
stops the fight. So two guys going at each other. One sort of inadvertently takes a knee to the face and gets knocked out. And the winner of the fight, who won the fight,
They both fell down,
Yeah.
and one guy landed on the guy's leg.
Yeah.
Hit leg on his knee,
So
and he was knocked out.
no skill involved in this particular
Nothing.
knockout. And to celebrate his win, he stands both feet flat on the guy's back and does a forward.
These are big guys. These are heavyweights.
Yeah,
Big
does
guy.
a forward flip, landing on his own ass. He doesn't even execute the flip very well, but to celebrate his win, and then they reversed the decision. They disqualified him after the knockout for doing that. So the win.
Yeah, I mean, you're a total piece of shit.
Yeah. So how do you feel? You definitely disqualified. That guy's a total piece of shit. Absolutely. Right. But you just got knocked the fuck out. Inadvertently, mind you, but knocked the fuck out. You wake up for the next 5 hours. You keep going, what happened? And someone says, oh, you got knocked out. Well,
And then they're showing you the video of the dude doing a backflip off of you.
and he has to go, well, not only did I get knocked out, but I won. Like, I feel like that should be a no contest.
It is a no contest. You don't want to take that
No,
W.
but he gets a W because the other guy was DQ'd. He was
Right.
It is a W.
I don't know. I guess you take it. I mean, it was total luck. I mean, that's just happenstance, right?
Yeah.
I was kicking your butt. I fell down, and I landed on your knee. I mean, come on.
Yeah, it's not
You
one
had
of
no-
those. I'm throwing a flying knee and you're going to duck in and throw an uppercut.
Right.
And timing was that you just got knocked out. What was that one MMA fight where they caved in the guy's forehead? I don't.
Oh, terrible.
Yeah.
Michael Venom Page did that to Cyborg.
Yeah. Yeah.
Male Cyborg.
Male cyborg.
So her ex-husband.
Yeah. So that was brutal, and that's a legitimate knockout where he was throwing a knee and the other guy was coming in and just.
Yeah, he didn't know it was that bad though.
No.
Then he did like the little Pokemon ball thing. I mean, that was funny, but it was like he didn't know that he almost killed the person.
No. Well.
That was just there was previous damage there for sure.
Oh, for sure. That guy. There are some brutal knockouts. I've been watching a lot of submissions lately because Cairo,
Right.
My son.
Well, hold on. What's the acceptable way to celebrate?
Oh, that you should just the acceptable is to be excited, for sure, to pump your fist, to yell at the crowd, to even say some shit like yeah, you know what's up, everything along those lines of I'm the best, I'm the greatest.
Well,
Muhammad
if you
Ali-esque, sure, that's fine.
if you listen to Mike Tyson, he had the best thing. Someone asked him, said, how come you never celebrate after you win? And he said, I was never allowed to celebrate. So his trainer that passed away, Gus D'Amato, said, he goes, look at these morons out there celebrating after a win. He's like, that's what you've been training your whole life to do. He's like, it should come as no surprise when you knock the guy out. I was like, damn.
Yeah. Well.
Now, when I won my fight, I jumped up on the fucking ropes like the Ultimate Warrior, and I was like, I yelled out, "The beast, motherfuckers!" I was fucking so crazy excited about it, but like looking back on it, it would have been much more dope to just kind of just be stoic, like Rory McDonald.
I don't,
just like,
I'm a big fan
meh.
of sportsmanship and stoicism and all that stuff, but like I hate football rules. In football, it was for a long time. I think they've lightened up on them a little bit. But for a long time, you weren't allowed to really celebrate a touchdown, and organized.
You should be able to celebrate the shit out of a touchdown.
Yeah.
That makes no sense whatsoever.
Well, particularly for a sport that's based entirely around fans enjoying and watching the game. Team sports,
Yes.
yeah. They should hire choreographers to come in and plan team celebrations
Can you imagine that? Like if it was like amazing productions,
They
people
should
would
be.
like, wow, this
There
is
should
so
be.
dope.
They should make WWE style entrances, and there should be pyro, and there should be a whole fucking thing, because that whole sport is about selling advertising money and getting people to watch it. And why are you your product is not the game. Your product is the people watching the game. That's what people don't understand about Facebook. People get bent out of shape on Facebook about rule changes, going, well, I'm not going to use it anymore. You're not the audience.
That's a lie.
You're the product. You're what Facebook sells. And in the same vein, what the NFL sells is not the game. It's they're selling people watching the game. NFL makes their money off of people watching.
They make their money off of the fans, butts and seats,
advertising dollars, and advertising revenue on television. So if their product is your eyes and your attention, and they intentionally make rules to not completely take advantage of that. And that baffles me, because it's under the guise, the illusion of that fans aren't the product, when in fact they are. It always boggles my mind when that's the case. Football doesn't exist without people watching it. Just ask the XFL, and for that matter, whatever they're calling.
Dude, the XFL would have been dope. They're trying to revamp that.
It's back, and for that matter, the original XFL was Vince McMahon and Dick Ebersol from NBC at the time created the XFL, and the XFL is coming back. But
he hate me. Remember that guy?
Yeah,
he hate me.
Ron, he hate me smart. He went on to play in the NFL, actually. As did Tommy Maddox, who was the quarterback of the first the one and only XFL championship. Maybe there was one other season.
I never watched the game.
What made the auspicious beginning of the XFL was that instead of a coin toss, what they would do is they would have a race where people would start on either end. The ball would be on the 50-yard line in the middle, and people would start on either end of the field and run, and whoever got the ball would get the kickoff. That's how they started.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Why is that not cool? It's like dodgeball.
So they did this, and the first time they did it, opening day, first game, here's the first rush for the ball.
Somebody Goldberg speared someone.
No, somebody got injured though. They did get injured. So on the
injured how?
I don't remember. I just remember that someone got hurt.
Let me Google this shit.
Yeah. So but here's what's funny is that it was I think it was Dick Ebersol and Vince McMahon who started the XFL. And now, XFL opening scramble injury. Yeah, so Vince McMahon 2 months ago announced that the XFL is coming back. About 2 weeks ago, Dick Ebersol announced his own football league called the AAF, the Alliance of American Football. So XFL is getting a competitor from the guy who created the original XFL. It's all going to be terrible too. The XFL owns all teams and pays all players, and it's. I don't know, man. It's going to be another train wreck, I think. But in the age of the internet, can you get enough internet?
Nobody got hurt.
Nobody got hurt on the opening scramble?
The very first XFL scramble. I just watched it. No one got hurt.
I thought there was an injury. Am I just completely making that up in my mind? XFL.
What said injury? That's what I Googled too. I don't see anyone that's hurt.
Well, it might just be like he limped off the field.
Well, damn, dude, the camera guys were super close.
Yeah, the XFL, very first XFL scramble. You're watching that YouTube video?
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to hear crazy? If you go back, not only was the XFL wild, but it was the announcers for the game were Jim Ross and the governor at the time, Jesse Ventura. He was governor at the time.
The body.
Yeah, but he was actually governor at the time. He was both governor and the XFL announcer. Yeah. So
why? But something must have happened because it said injury.
Yeah.
Like
So
that's what
the
comes
other guy,
up.
the other guy, the guy in white, he got hurt. One of them did something to an ankle or something like that, or whatever it was. But
crazy.
Yeah, it was a wild event, man. It was a different era. But we're 1 week away from WrestleMania, so I'm super excited about that. Neither here nor there. Okay, so we're at we're at an hour 30. So let's wrap this up. I got one more thing for you. One more thing for you. It's something you said last week.
You trying to get me?
Yeah,
I'm trying to get me.
I'm trying to get you. Yeah. So something you said last week that caught my ear, which was Nikki, your wife, studying for the citizenship test, and So
hey, full disclosure, this was a long time ago.
Yeah, it was a
so
long
that's
time ago.
that. Like I'd have fucked this test up, man.
Yeah, so I took this. It's a 20 question practice exam on the US Citizenship and
Lord.
Immigration Services website. I've taken it 3 times. I have yet to miss one, but also in full disclosure,
You're political. I'm not. I don't care.
I'm a huge politics fan. I'm an American history fan. I actually study and have an interest in this stuff. It's a hobby of mine. So.
Dude, okay, we're gonna. All right, fine.
So
this is fair. This is where you want to be.
Yeah.
All right, because I'm gonna create a test about mixed martial arts.
you should do it. I will be happy.
I'll take it back to the dark days.
You should. You should ask me those questions. You should give me a
super
UFC
test.
1 and 2. Sure. All right. You ready for this? This will
Yeah,
be your
let's
last
do
thing.
it.
All right. So this is the civics practice test. 20 questions. We'll see how you do. It's been a while. It's been several years, five or 6 years, maybe longer, since your wife took this. You were studying for it. And you don't follow politics. You don't care.
No, I don't care.
You don't have an interest in U.S. government. You don't care. You vote.
Zero.
You do vote, but otherwise you don't care. Right?
I don't really vote.
Okay. You should definitely do that. We're going to talk about that some other time.
All right, well, we'll talk about that. Okay, fine.
All right. Okay. So there are 4 amendments. This is question 1. There are 4 amendments to the Constitution about who can vote. Describe one of them. A.
Do we have?
Only citizens with a job can vote. B. Citizens by birth only can vote. C. Citizens 18 and older can vote. D. Citizens 17 and older can vote.
Citizens 18 and older.
C. That is correct. That is correct. Question 2. Now you should know that, being that your wife was an immigrant citizen who can vote.
Right.
Okay, hold on a second.
Any more brain busters?
Any more?
Movie association.
Yeah, hold on. Something happened on my practice exam where it booted me back to the beginning. Okay, hold on a second.
Long pause.
Long pause. Okay, sorry. Question 2.
I'm going to miss this one.
What do we show loyalty to when we say the Pledge of Allegiance? Is it the president, the state where you live, the United States, or Congress? What do we show loyalty to with the pledge, Brian? Do we show loyalty to the president, the state, the United States?
The United States.
That is correct. Very good. Very good. You can stay so far. Name one war fought by the United States in the 1900s. Here are your choices. The War of 1812, the Civil War, the Revolutionary War, or World War I.
World War One.
Yeah, I like that one was called the War of 18. The War of Not in This Century.
It's like, hey man, are you really dumb? Let's test it.
Maybe. We elect a president for how many years? 8,
4.
2, 10, or 4? You knew the answer right away. See, this is no problem. So far, you're perfect. Where is the Statue of Liberty? Boston Harbor, Long Island, San Francisco Bay, or New York Harbor? Boston Harbor, Long Island.
It's not Boston. It's in New York. It's
San Francisco Bay.
Long Island.
Long Island. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. That is incorrect. New York Harbor. Ooh.
Okay. I mean, I know where it's at.
Yeah. We elect a U.S. representative. These are members of Congress. U.S. representative for how many years?
2.
4, 8, 6, or 2?
2.
2 is correct.
Get some.
Even the one you missed. It's not on the island, but you were in the right spot. Name one war fought by the United States in the 1800s. World War I, World War II, the Korean War, or the Mexican-American War.
Mexican-American War.
Yeah, that was an easy one too. What is one thing Benjamin Franklin is famous for? He invented the airplane. He was the youngest member of the Constitutional Convention, 3rd President of the United States, or a U.S. diplomat.
I'm pretty sure the
B, the youngest member of the Constitutional Convention?
Yep.
Oh, sorry, sir. It was actually...
He's a diplomat. Well, I thought he was both.
No, he was pretty old by the time the Revolutionary War came around. I think it's possible, and I'd have to look it up, that Alexander Hamilton was pretty young at the time. I think he was 21. Might have been the youngest person.
Is that before or after that he shot, or that he got shot by A. Burr?
Aaron Burr shot him in his 50s or 60s.
Hey, Burr.
Aaron Burr. Got milk. What are the two parts of the U.S. Congress? The Senate and the courts, the House of Lords and the House of Commons, the Senate and the House of Representatives, or the House of Representatives and the courts?
Hold on. Can you obviously it's not the Lord's one. What were the other ones? Say it again.
Senate and the courts, House of Representatives and the courts, or the Senate and the House of Representatives?
Senate and House of Representatives.
Yeah, you knew that. So out of the 10 questions, the only one you really missed.
I didn't really miss it. Oh,
was Benjamin Franklin.
Benny Franks.
Yeah, Benny Franks, because the Long Island one, I'm going to give that one to you. That one's a shitty question. How about this one? This is a really good question, and I don't know. I don't think this is reflective of you. I think this is reflective in general. Since you don't watch the news, I'm curious if you'll get this. Who is the Chief Justice of the United States now? Is it Joe Biden, Anthony Kennedy, John G. Roberts, or Barack Obama?
John G. Roberts.
That's correct. Chief Justice of the United States Supreme Court. Anthony.
How long has he been he's been at their Supreme Court for life?
For life, and he was appointed by George W. Bush.
Yeah. So he was in there when my wife was taking the test.
Yeah. So yeah, he was that name. Who was the first president? You know that one, George Washington. I know you know that one. I'm not gonna make you.
Wooden teeth, homie.
No, that's actually a rumor. His teeth were made of
Is it?
Yeah, they were porcelain. They were just so tobacco stained that they looked like wood.
Oh.
But they were porcelain teeth.
Motherfucker bit me. I had to cut my arm off.
Yeah. When is the last day you can send in your federal income tax forms?
April 15th.
That's correct. I'm not even giving you the multiple choice on that one. You pay taxes, you know when you got to send that check in. What was?
No, I'm max. I max my tax bracket out. For work.
Yeah.
I tell myself, you put me in the highest tax bracket possible. I do not want to end up. Where were we at? Our last job when homeboy decided that he wanted to go tax exempt and then didn't change it.
Oh yeah. Oh god.
It's like, hey, dummy, didn't you realize the entire year you were getting ballin' paychecks?
Yeah. Oh, and then at the end of the year
Who
you get that.
Who was that dumbass?
We know who that was. He eventually had his paycheck. Actually, what do they call it when they take it out?
Garnished.
Garnished. Yeah, he had his wages garnished by the U.S. federal government for back taxes because he owed so much money and he had no other way to pay it back other than.
That's insane.
Oh, super silly. Just like, dude, what are you doing?
I could see how I could get. I don't know.
Yeah, pretty brutal. All right, name one of the two longest rivers in the United States. I'll give you bonus points if you can name them both.
It's the Colorado River.
No.
Hold on, wait a second. No, that's short. That's the. So hold on a second.
I'll give you
with the Rio Grande.
No, I'll give you the four choices.
Okay, give me the four choices.
Ohio, Colorado, Mississippi, and Rio Grande.
Rio Grande and Mississippi.
Name one of the two longest rivers in the United States. Of this four list, only one of these is one of the two.
Oh, it's the Rio Grande then.
No, it's the Mississippi.
The Mississippi?
Mississippi and the Missouri River are the two longest rivers in the United States.
Whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Oh.
Why does the flag have 50 stars? We know that one.
Jeez.
I guess that's a relevant question, though. If you're showing up to this country and you've never been, that's a pretty relevant question, yeah?
Yeah. Okay.
Oh.
Tell me about the stripes.
That's the 13 colonies, man. If both the president and the vice president can no longer serve, who becomes president? Is it the Secretary of the Treasury, the President pro tempore, the Secretary of State, or the Speaker of the House?
Speaker of the House.
That is correct.
That's why they can never be in the same room.
That's right.
All three of them.
Yeah. Well, they are. But there's actually someone designated survivor during things like joint sessions of Congress, State of the Union address, because the Speaker of the House, the President, the Vice President.
There's a movie about that. Is it a movie or a show?
It's a television show, Kiefer Sutherland, called Designated Survivor. But there is a designated survivor, and it's usually some underling secretary who you would never want to be president, but they have to hang back in a secure location in case
they're like Dave Chappelle. I'm rich, bitch.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay, so I've answered. I'm skipping ahead because some of these questions I know you know, like what was the Emancipation Proclamation and slavery, etc. During the Cold War, what was the main concern of the United States? Was it climate change, slavery, the Great Depression, or communism? I think we know that was
communism.
So really,
that's so funny. Someone's like, "Oh, shit, Cold War.
Yeah.
Cold War was definitely about climate change.
All right, so I'm gonna
That's
give
why Al Gore was so pissed.
The only one you really missed was you missed the New York, the Long Island one, New York Harbor versus Long Island,
And Benny Frank.
and Ben Frank being an old man during. That's pretty good, man. I think.
Yeah, but I kind of knew which one it was. I just picked the wrong one.
Yeah.
I knew what that was.
I think you get to stay. You get to stay. But
all right, sweet.
yeah. So as we wrap up here, when I edit this, I'm apparently going to be editing in some music from our buddy. So I wanted to give him a shout out here at the end.
Shout out to Heartpound Music.
Yeah.
T-Lone.
So he sent me a bunch of tracks. I'll try to pick which one fits best during the intro. So if I did that, either I used last week's intro, in which case thanks for that, whoever made that, I forget who, off the Pod Free Music site, or it's a track from Heartpound from our boy T. What's he going? What's his moniker nowadays? What's his?
He's T-Lone.
He is T-Lone. He's still T-Lone.
Yeah.
All right. You never know. Sometimes people change their name. I'm just making sure.
He changed it up a few times.
All right.
I remember when he got hit in the eye by the tennis ball,
Was
and then he had the eye patch, and I called him T.I.
T.I.
But it was spelled E-Y-E.
Right. All right. Well, shout out to T-Lone for the music and sending me some tracks.
He's gonna be a guest on here soon.
Yeah, he'd be funny. He'd definitely be funny. And then we'll be back next week to talk about some shit. This was a good one. I think you were better. I think you were more fluid.
Oh, dude, always improving.
Yeah, I think you were more attentive this week. For those who didn't know, last week there was that pinball machine we were talking about earlier was being delivered at the time. And it's hard to podcast and have some dude tramping around your house, hoping he doesn't break some shit. And you had a dog choking in the background.
Yep, that's what it gets for being greedy.
Yeah. So we'll come up with some 7-ish new things. If you want to get a hold of me, I'm at Smoking Hamlet. That's smoking as in a cigarette and Hamlet as in Shakespeare on the Twitterverse, and Merlin Beloved Insta. We're on Facebook. Hit us up if you want. If you have something you want us to bitch and ramble and talk about, hit us up. Otherwise,
absolutely, we got to get on our shirts. We got to get our merch up.
Oh, we do got to get some merch.
We got 9 fans. We got to give them some gear.
Yeah.
Start the army.
Yeah. Of course, shout out to Transform Fitness in Austin.
You can
Music.
follow my wife. You can follow my wife at Transform Fitness Nikki on the Instagram, and myself at Glock on Fire.
Yeah, where apparently that's 35,000 people already do those two things. So, or you could follow me on Insta, and it'd be my 352nd follower. Jeez. All right.
Yeah.
Cool. Anything else?
Step your game up.
You got anything else for us?
No, I think that's it, man.
That's it. That's all we got.
Oh, but we're going to talk about bad internet advice, but I think we kind of talked about that.
I just wanted to bring up that Whisper thing. Well, I think we'll talk about that a little more. I'll keep my eye on Whisper because I feel like some of those they're worth a longer conversation. I'm not saying we need to really give this polygamist, polyamorous woman a huge amount of advice other than to say that her shit's doomed.
Yeah.
I feel most relationships are doomed. I'm a little bit of a cynic, but that one in particular is doomed. And
definitely, 100%.
Yeah, for example, and Whisper is just an endless resource for some of the shit. I hate my job for the sole fact that people love to smoke weed when they're not even on break.
What? What kind of awesome job did this guy have?
Well, so it seems to be her, I don't know, but she hates her job for the sole fact that people leave to smoke. So her coworkers are getting high. So I have 2 questions for her. 1, why aren't you joining them? And 2, if you're not, because you want to do a good job, that's great. Why are you worrying about them?
Well, I guess my question would be is, if you don't like working at McDonald's, then go work at Burger King.
But even so, just handle your own shit. Don't worry about their shit. Handle your shit.
Handle your business.
Yeah. I don't know why you're getting bent out of shape about that.
Control what you can control.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. Depressed people just need to stop thinking so negativity. Not negatively, negativity. So this person needs to learn grammar. And 2, that's not how depression works. That person's a fool. Being treated with respect is not a privilege. It's a right.
Oh my God. This is terrible.
Yeah. My friends are pooping out kids, and I'm popping out degrees because mama didn't raise a fool.
Well, what?
Yeah. People don't proofread. Do men feel pressured to buy an expensive engagement ring?
What kind of crap? This is just horrible. This is bad internet advice.
Ooh, is it cheating to text your ex who is still in love with you? depends on the content of the text, don't you think? You text him, leave me alone.
What? Well, first of all, the question is, why would you text someone like that?
I don't know.
I think it's. I think basically you don't ever let an ex in your life.
Okay, here's one. This is
block that kick is what I'm saying. Don't ever text them. Don't ever do anything. That's my advice.
Block that kick. Just or duck and evade. Slip those punches.
Right.
All right. So here's one, and this will end on this one. Good-looking people have no idea how much better their lives are than an unattractive person.
Ouch.
Ouch.
That's horrible. May want to edit that one out. That's terrible.
Okay, here's another one. I know I said that was the last one, but this one's kind of interesting. Take a drunk girl home, let her sleep all alone, leave her keys on the counter, your number by the phone, pick up her life she threw on the floor, leave the hall light on, walk out, and lock the door. I when I first read this, I thought,
what?
Yeah, so you meet a drunk girl in the bar, she says, let's go back to my place. You do. You tuck her in, and you leave her number, and you leave. Yeah, it seems like a really nice guy thing to do, for sure. But I don't get the pick up her life she threw on the floor. I feel like this guy's overly judging this girl.
What are we talking about here? Were we talking about, like, he's going to lock some random stranger
in his house?
In his apartment?
No, her house. Take a drunk girl home, as in her home. Like, oh my God, I'm so drunk, let's go back to my place. You're like, yeah, let's go back to your place. Take her back to her place, and then you tuck her into bed. Leave her keys on the counter. Why do you have her keys on? I guess you got in. Your number by the phone. Hey, I'm the strange guy you don't remember last night. I brought you home, put you in bed. Here's my number. Give me a call sometime. But I don't have any problem with that. What I have a problem with is pick up her life she threw on the floor.
I don't know what that means. Did she throw up?
No, it means that he's judging her for going out and having a good time and having some drinks. And so he's just... You pick up her. Yeah, it's very judgy. It's why.
So is this who this person wants to be with? Is someone that's judging the shit out of him?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, don't worry, I'll improve it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's like half nice guy and half patriarchal bullshit. I didn't like that one at all. Oh, when do kidneys become adult knees?
Nope.
When do kidneys become adult knees? All right.
You can't. Nope. That's enough. That's it. That's the end of it. No more.
All right. So we're good. We're done.
Tune in next week when we talk about Bigfoot.
Bigfoot. Yeah. Apologies. We ran out of. We were gonna have Bigfoot on the show today, but we ran out of time.
Back to hiding.
Until next time. Yeah, that was it.
This is the Wizard and Warrior, and we're out.